Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Buds. This week, I'm really happy to be joined by Mike and Danny of Penelope Bourbon. Um, so to start this out, you all started your own brand and you all are pretty new to the industry. So what got you all into bourbon to begin with?
It's got to be our love for whiskey,
Yeah,
our love for bourbon. That would, right? I mean, Danny, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I'd say. I
I mean,
mean,
we both love whiskey, and
definitely.
I think that's ultimately why we keep doing what we do and working hard every night.
it's
Sure.
one of those things where, like, if it didn't work out, you still have whiskey for the rest of your life. So,
Well, of
Yeah,
course. So one of the things I really enjoy about your all's product is it's a 4 grain whiskey and so, what was the process in deciding to go with a 4 grain? Because I know that's very unique. Um,
we, to be honest, we didn't even really know that we created that 4 grain out of the gate. I mean, we were at MGP. This is back in 2018, July of 2018, and they had every mash bill they make really on the table, and we were tipping through them all different years,
hmm
different mash bills, and we just, we weren't really settling together on a single mash bill, so we just started kind of tinkering and blending them together at the table right there at MGP, and we blended 3 mash bills together, and we're like, oh, we love that. And it just so happened that it was a 99 corn mash bill, a 45 wheat bourbon mash bill, and a 21 rye bourbon mash bill. So together you get those 4 grains because each of them has malted barley in them. The blended mash bill that we came up with that day was roughly about 74% corn. So it was still a very high corn blend. But we both fell in love with it because it had a little bit of rye in it and had a little bit of wheat in it. Mike kind of likes the rye stuff a little more, and I'm a big wheated drinker. I love the 99 corn at MGP too.
Definitely,
Yeah, I like the higher rye, the little spicier body. Um, I love it.
definitely. So I saw where you all, I think it was the Valencia you all just came out with. Can you tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about that?
Yeah, so that was one that we've been working on for about probably almost a year, over a year actually, well over a year, probably a year and a half. And we'd always like to kind of be somewhat innovative in some of the cast finishes we do. And our profile is a little bit sweeter. You get some of these orange zest notes, citrus, notes. And when we came across these Vino de Naranja barrels, this kind of orange wine finish from Spain, we just felt like that would pair and marry really, really well with just our core 4 grain.
Hmm.
It would really round it out nicely and give it like some good body. And so yeah, we were excited about that one. And that had about a year finishing period to it. So
Wow,
we started aging those that they were about a year in the VDN barrels.
definitely.
And the initial blend, because what we did was we took the juice of the wine, right? And that came out of the barrels, and we just blended it with the whiskey, and we loved it. So we put it in the barrels, and after like the first month, 2 months, like it wasn't, to be honest with you, it wasn't that good. And we were like, oh no, what did we do? So
Yeah.
we kind of like put them aside and set it and forget it, and we just let time take its course, and we came back to it a year later, and when we were able to dump the barrels and kind of figure out what the right proof of that product should be, I mean, we just fell in love with it, and it was everything we wanted it to be.
That's awesome. I mean, it's crazy that you can have kind of an experiment like that, and it starts out, you guys may not like it, then a year later, it's awesome. It's really awesome what time can do to it.
So a
So
lot of patience in this world.
yeah, it has to be for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you all just come up with really good ideas as far as finishes and just different things you all want to try? Like, how does that process work?
That's all. Mike's the blue sky thinker.
Huh. I don't know about that. I think it's more of just kind of talking to partners and seeing what's out there and just kind of using a little bit of your imagination and also kind of being realistic at the same time. But it's always a collaborative effort. I think we're always trying. I think that's the fun part of it, is trying to constantly come up with something new, and that's good. That's the key. It's got to work. It just can't be a good idea or a pretty label on a package. It's really got to stand up and hold its own from a quality perspective as well.
He's really good at like throwing something out there, and then kind of like then we work to like make the product, realistic, and get it going.
For sure. So I was going to ask too, do you all go with the sourcing? Do you all go to these different, like the wine barrels from Spain, for instance? Do you all go there and just pick out like different ones, or like how do you all figure out which place to get the said barrels to finish your experiments in?
Sorry, guys, I had to put myself on mute. Penelope's up in bed and was
Oh,
calling, yelling, and all that good stuff. So sorry. Probably weird. I was like,
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's something we found out that, if you don't have a reliable source for your finishing barrels, you really don't know what you're getting.
yeah.
A lot of times the finishing barrels are being brokered by, third-party people that don't disclose the exact origin of the barrel, because they don't want you to go direct to like the winery or the source. So we found that just having really good partners. So we partnered with Speyside and Redu Cooperages.
Mm-hmm.
We have a great guy over there. It's become a really good friend of ours, Rob. So he tells us like where is it coming? He tells us where it's coming from, like the story behind it. He was like an ex-Som, or he's a Som, so he knows, he can really go into detail about what you're going to get out of these barrels before you get them. And then we just kind of work files and work around it that way. But we were having a really hard time sourcing our rosé cast finish barrels. Rosé barrels are really not a lot of rosés done in oak barrel, which usually just done in stainless steel after the harvest. So we were having a hard time getting sources of these barrels. Even Rob from Speyside was having a hard time getting them. So he actually hooked us up with a winery in the south of France, where we're actually producing our own rosé wine in oak, and then we're going to take the barrels and use them for our rosé cast finish. But that's been an interesting process, because
which is pretty cool.
We were there during harvest when they were harvesting the grapes, and we were drinking the freshly squeezed grape juice and blending the different grape varietals together to figure out what we were going to put in our barrels. So we were kind of like reverse engineering it, where we're figuring out how the wine itself is going to affect the bourbon before the wine even became the wine.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. The fact that you all were able to take that even before and just blend the juices to, I mean, that's more talented than I am. So,
well, it's just kind of just thinking outside the box and, really trying to see how we can, bridge the gap. And I think it just felt like the best possible scenario. Actually, it's a lot of work though. It's been a lot of work.
Well, I'd say it is. I mean, your palate's probably shot by a certain point because you're trying this blend and that blend, and which one is better here.
Oh yeah. No, it does take a little bit of a toll.
Yeah,
I'd say so.
You just kind of just drink and spit wherever you can, like you'll find, like if you come to my house, you'll just find samples randomly, like in a sock drawer or like on the, upstairs cabinet, or like, just kind of scattered all over.
So do you all do most of the blending yourselves, like you two?
Danny does all of our blending, all of it.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, 100% of it.
So you all are, rather new. I think you all started, was it 2018?
That's when Mike incepted. Is that the right word? Incepted?
Incepted. Yeah, why not? That sounds cool. I think it works. Heck yeah. Yeah, we founded the company in the summer of 2018. And then we really didn't go to market probably till I think it was like February, March of 2019. And that's when we were selling it ourselves. So we were just selling it from our car for that first part of 2019.
Wow. So you all had to do probably years in advance of planning, for that to take off at that time. Is that right?
Well, actually, no. We just
No?
kind of like picked up the pieces and went. Literally, we don't have any background in this space, so we didn't know anybody. We didn't know anything about it. We had two different careers before this, but we just kind of like had that like one speed. Just gotta go, I guess. Got to go figure it out.
Definitely. That's really cool though. I mean, you guys started, from selling it out of your car to now. I mean, I saw you all at the Bourbon Festival, and I mean, you're in all these stores here in Kentucky. So,
Yeah, it's still kind of crazy even to think about, to be honest with you.
oh, I bet. I mean, does it still floor you? If you ever walk into a liquor store and you see your all's brand, on the shelf.
Yeah,
Yeah, it really
still
does.
crazy to this day, to be honest
I gotta
with
tell you though, when we were launching in Kentucky, I was anxious. It's like, oh, like we're going into Kentucky, like that's home of bourbon, like
Yeah.
and it was well received, and remember the first week, like there were sales, there were a lot of sales, and I was just shocked. It was kind of like an aha moment, a little bit, where it was like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah, like I don't know, it was crazy actually. I was just thinking about all that. Yeah, Tennessee had that too as well a little bit, but no, we've had. I mean, honestly, just the reception and it's such like a welcoming community. It's been a good. I mean, it's just been a great business to be in from the consumer side and the community side, but also on the trade side and other partners and other distilleries we've gotten to know, and it's been awesome.
It is.
A really great experience.
And it's one of the few industries probably in the world where people that you would think you would be competing against are actually your friends.
Yeah, no, it's very collaborative.
Incredibly friendly.
Yeah, it's a very it's not, sure there's probably some healthy competition, like, just whatever, but it's not, you don't get that sense like people are out to like, go around people or, I don't know, everyone's in it. We're all in it together. I feel like it's very, a lot of camaraderie, I guess is a good way to say it.
Definitely. Even with the fans too, it's really cool that, no matter everybody's walks of life, we all enjoy bourbon and we're all here for the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. We're all like we're just fans of bourbon. That's really all we are too. I mean, that's it.
That's actually been one of the best things for me, has been kind of traveling around the country to all the different states and like meeting everybody and just to your point, like coming together around that common theme of whiskey. And it's been amazing.
Definitely. So like you mentioned traveling around. So this is kind of a tough question, but what's a normal day like for you all?
It's just pretty busy. So we operate very lean as a company. I mean, we don't have this massive team. We never took on outside investors, and so it's just been very scrappy. So when it's very scrappy, it's like every day it's going to be a roller coaster.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot to do, but ultimately, fundamentally, we kind of cut things in half. Like really taking on product and blending and operations on that front and production, and then I'm kind of leading up a sales and marketing side of things. And so having that kind of at least high level focus is pretty helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you could dial in, and then there's plenty to do in both of those buckets.
Yeah. Mike drives the business forward, every day, and kind of just, I'm there executing kind of things. But to your point, like a day, it changes every day. It's like some days are HR days, to be honest with you. Some days are, compliance days, trying to get permits in or get filings in.
Yeah.
Some days are, hopefully most days are blending days, but those are always fun. And then we travel, we travel a bunch too, just kind of try to visit the markets and get out there and meet people and clients and customers.
Definitely. So like, you mentioned your samples too. Do you do a lot of blending at your house?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah,
can see it behind him.
Yeah, I'm actually at my house.
that's
So
what I
like,
figured.
so I got a little setup here. And then at the office too, we have like a production team at the office too. It's not a lot of people, but they help out pulling barrel samples and things. And the stuff that we do at our place in New Jersey, it's pretty hands-on. We do a lot of like finishing, like rebarrelings, or like, so we have a toasted series where we rebarrel our blends into new oak barrels. And that changes rapidly. I mean, like on a weekly basis, they're changing. Even when you get like weather in or something, you get like a drastic change in climate, like it changes really quickly then too. So you constantly have to taste through the barrels and see which ones are ready to go, or mixing them and things like that.
Definitely. Your all's toasted is my favorite, by the way.
Oh, nice.
So
Thank you, man. I've been drinking quite a bit of toasted lately. I've been really into it for the last year now that we've had it.
It's good stuff.
Thank you.
I did have a bottle of it, but somehow it just disappeared. So
They tend to do that pretty quickly.
they do. So, speaking of the toasted, most of them I've seen are store picks. So how does that work? Do you all send samples out to people and they, sample them, or do they come to New Jersey, or?
It's a little bit of both. A lot of folks will come to our facility. But actually I'd say 85% of toasted's actually batch releases.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've definitely done some private barrels of it. But a majority is our batch release. And then, people come to, it's a combination. People come to New Jersey, or we work with our wholesale partner and getting them samples, and then they go to the market and, work with different retailers and folks like that. So it's kind of both ways, but we've seen it both ways.
And then with the toasted, do you all set aside certain barrels that you think are better, like for single barrels, and then do it, or how does that process work?
Yeah. So we'll go through, because we have different batches and lots of barrels at MGP, and we'll figure out which lots or batches we want to use in either like a larger blend, or we'll pull out certain barrels that maybe don't fit the right profile for a larger batch, and they become more of single barrels or smaller batches.
Okay.
So like I'd say MGP does a distillation run, and it produces 100 barrels of a mash bill in one run. So like one fill of the still. I'd say like after aging, maybe like 80% of them are usually on profile together. And then you get like 20 where, not that they're bad, but they're just different for one reason or another. Maybe like something with the cooperage wasn't charred correctly, wasn't charred like the other ones, or maybe in a different place in the warehouse, maybe just some sort of element affected how it aged. So those barrels just kind of get pulled out and they get used for those single barrels or other things like that.
That's cool.
I'd say like 1 out of 100 barrels maybe are like quote unquote bad.
So what do you all do with the ones that you say are bad?
We've had so few of them. Like usually we'll just let them sit. So I know like at Bardstown, we do some of our bigger batches at Bardstown Bourbon. So like they're just sitting there, and you just say, well, maybe in another 3 years they'll be good. Something will change. Sometimes we bring them back, and we might like if we're doing a big batch, you might sprinkle in a little where it doesn't affect the profile, but you just use it sparingly.
Yeah.
At no point is bourbon ever harmed and dumped down the drain.
And that's also helps too when you have great distillery partners like MGP and,
Definitely.
you know, Bartstown and Green River. Is there's a certain consistency and quality that come with that, where it's like, I mean, and by the term, when we use the term bad, I mean it's still bourbon, it's still aged bourbon. It just might not be aligned with the profile that we're going for. So
Yeah.
but there'll be a home for it somewhere.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um,
Good.
so, going back to what I was talking about with you all being relatively new, have you all noticed a big change in the industry compared to when you all started out in 2018 versus now?
Yeah, I mean, so we haven't been in it that long, so it's
Yeah.
kind of, I think if you have someone that's been in it for 20 years, 15, for a longer period of time, they probably see this much more holistic
Yeah.
kind of change transformation. From our side, I mean, I think like there was this surge that was just starting to like really pick up steam. And then I think since COVID, I think it's just been and there's changes across the board. Like I think the consumer base has widened, so there's more consumers interested in the bourbon space. I think there's a tremendous number of there's been a lot of changes in the terms of brands and distillery partners. And that's what I think. I think it's just been, was kind of like we've been part of this transformation. So like if you ask someone 15 years ago, they probably could see it from like before the wave to now. Whereas we were kind of got kind of in like kind of at a opportunistic time, that it was kind of right before that kind of the craziness that kind of took over basically from 2020 through now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was curious about. You all being new, I just was wondering just how much, how much you all would notice versus somebody that, like you said, somebody that's been doing this for a while and they saw it before, when vodka was the big thing, and now where there's a big boom.
Yeah, it's been interesting to be part of, but yeah, I would think that's how I've seen it the most, is just it's constantly changing.
Definitely.
And that's why you have to be agile, and that's why it's important to maintain like some agility to be able to adapt to things and changes,
Yeah, for sure. So I'm very curious. So are you all eventually, I'm sure you will, but are you all eventually going to come out with maybe different variations of Penelope, like a fully rye or a full wheat whiskey or something like that?
I think right now it's not like super kind of high on the radar, but there's and you're talking about like a core item that's like part of our core lineup. And
yeah, sometime down the road.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're always looking at rye and wheat, and I think it would have to kind of separate itself. I would almost think have to be something outside of MGP to kind of like differentiate from the other products to some extent. But I think we keep all options on the table, to be honest with you. And I think we're kind of in the cast finish front right now, doing some new cast finishes and in the Cooper series. But yeah, we're always kind of looking at our set and where the market is and what the market wants, basically.
Definitely. Yeah, I've noticed too, just other people that I've seen that, even when I go in the liquor store and buy whatever, there a lot of people are really looking for those wine finishes now, the sweeter, bourbons.
Yeah, and that's a great example where there's like a trend, you kind of see it's happening, and doesn't necessarily mean you have to jump on every trend. I mean, we like to, remain true to our, like, what we always have to like whatever it is we're doing. That's like, we're not just going to make something for the hell of making it. We have to be able to enjoy it. Like I'm drinking this Private Select right now and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So yeah, I think there's always different things that we could be bouncing around and doing.
Which one are you drinking?
The 302. So good.
Oh, nice. Have you got another bottle of that?
I don't know where they found it. It was on my desk. So
nice.
Yeah. I didn't want to crack it, but I'm like, whatever.
We don't save bottles. Right?
What's that?
It's meant to be enjoyed, right?
That's it. We don't save. There's nothing to save.
We have a problem saving like bottles for ourselves after we do releases. Like if we like, like Valencia, I don't think neither Mike or I have bottles of it.
I know. I know.
I ended up buying a bottle of the American Light whiskey we did back from a store.
Happens all the time.
So, like, do you all keep anything back for special occasions, or I mean, do you just truly drink everything, as soon as you get it?
Not necessarily drink it all, but like, maybe give it
Or
out as
open it?
gifts or friends or something like that. But
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, we're a scrappy business. We don't have we need to sell it. Like that's the most important thing. It's, that is very important. Like, just keeping the lights on and stuff like that is real important. So yeah.
definitely. I'm one of these people. I'm not really a collector either, like you all, or and from a fan level, not just from a company level. Again, it's meant to be enjoyed, so
I agree.
I usually crack it open not too long after I get it. But the problem with that is if you have too many open bottles, now you've got another dilemma because eventually, it won't be good forever when it's open.
Yeah. I guess you got to drink it.
Yeah, you have no choice.
You have to have a party every once in a while and just give it away.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. So, how often do you all travel, like during the week? Just several times, and then you come back, or
We have small kids. I mean, I think the traveling is extensive, but like this week I'm here.
yeah,
And so, I on average probably once every 2 to 3 weeks.
yeah,
Maybe once every 4 weeks, but there's spurts. Like I know like February is a big travel month. January, we kind of take a step back.
yeah. It's the slowest month for everybody. It seems like after Christmas. And
Yeah, it's just kind of reset, kind of take a deep breath and then kind of figure out how we're, plans for this year sort of thing. That's always important.
definitely. So I'm curious too. You all mentioned that you all had I think you said other previous careers before you started the company. What did you all do previously?
Well, I worked in software on an enterprise side, and Danny's a mechanical engineer.
Oh wow.
So kind of an eclectic background, and really that's that. I think it's like any business. It's a lot of it's relationships, and you got to work hard, and you got to market well, and you got to sell your product. So I think there's a lot of crossover. There are a lot of nuances to liquor that we just were like, ooh, I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah.
write that one down. But yeah, no, it's been that's what keeps it fun though too. It keeps us on our toes.
Yeah, definitely. It's not the same thing every day. You walk in and you are it. That's it. Almost keeps you fresh to a point, even though you're always constantly going.
To some extent, yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Um, I work in IT right now as well. So
Oh, nice. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I miss it. I miss it. I was in that for a while, and but I like the bourbon side of things now too.
definitely, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so when you all named your company, obviously you named it after your daughter from.
Yep.
So how long did it take you to come up with a name? Did you just think, oh, that would be great to do that? Or
Literally, it was as quick as that.
really?
Like, and you have a feeling you're like, that Penelope bourbon just sounds good, and the story's genuine. It's not made up. I mean, we found out we were having a girl, and I was like, I love, we knew we were gonna, if we had a girl, that Penelope was the name, and it kind of like clicked like immediately, and I was like, that's it. I knew right away. I was like, that's it.
Definitely.
And so it was, yeah, and we just went with it. And sometimes you just got to go with what's in your gut.
Of course.
But well, yeah, it's been a good ride, and we wouldn't be able to, we just appreciate all the support from everybody, the community, folks such as yourself, and just everyone. It's just been amazing. It's been crazy. However, got to keep putting out good product. That's the thing. We can't slow down.
Of course.
But we appreciate everything. And if you ever find yourself out in up in the Northeast, in New Jersey area, New York City, you know, you have our cell phone information. Come on by, man. We'd love to show you around. And look, it's not going to be like a Kentucky distillery. It's a little not as cool as some of those over there, but you know, it's our home. It's, you know, nothing fancy. And if you're ever up in the area, we'd love to have you come by.
Definitely. I'll let you all know. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on the show. So glad to have you. I know you all are very busy people. So
No, thank you.
We just appreciate you wanted us to be on it. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, like I said, I'll definitely, you know, if I'm ever in the area, I'll let you all know. And, you know, it was really good talking to you.
Yeah,
you
same.
as well. Thank you very much. And keep us posted though, for real. Let us know when this comes out too.
I will. Hopefully I'll have it out by like sometime later this week.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
Keep us posted, man.
All right.
Thanks again, Zach. I appreciate it, bud.
Thank you. See you all.
Bye. Nice to meet you.
Have a nice night.
Meet you all too.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.